Sweet! Hi, welcome to JD Sports. I'm Jared. That's Dwight. You can follow our personal Twitters at the show's Twitter page, which is @_JD Sports. Dwight, this week, there's a lot of college football to get into. We're probably not going to talk baseball, any basketball, or hockey.
No.
The U.S. Open, Sharapova lost. We're probably not going to talk much about that.
No. It's not time for that.
You're wearing Cowboys? The probably sure Hall of Famer. I'm not a fan of that, but it is the NFL preview.
You're not a fan of the Hall of Famer?
JD Sports. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, Jason Witten.
You're not a fan of my sign behind us that says Cowboys man game?
I found my old Eagles jersey that has fit me. My parents got this from me when I was like 6 or 7, they said. Randall Cunningham is my favorite Eagle of all time. And
that explains why it's tight as hell.
You have all seen me at my biggest weight when I was, in the beginning of the show. So, like, my smallest weight was about 10 pounds lower than what I am right now. But, I still fit in the old jersey a little.
It's kind of really...
It's a little tight, but I like it. It's old school.
No, it's just old.
It is old.
I was wondering why I was so damn tight. I was like, I know you're not ripped like that, bro.
No, I'm not. I'm not ripped at all.
I mean, I'm not either, but I was like...
I'm a little doughy under this, but that's okay.
This man is wearing a jersey from when he was 10.
7 years old. But there's the old picture of it, and it was like down to my ankles. It's really funny. My mom can't find it, but I've seen it a couple times. Getting into our NFL preview.
Yeah.
We're letting this up because it's the NFL preview. I'm in enemy territory.
You need to keep that up.
We're in enemy territory for a little while, but they did win the division last year. We're definitely going to get into the NFC East at some point. You know that. We're going to start off with the AFC East, though.
Okay.
I have a trigger word for every division.
Is it your trigger word or my trigger word?
No, it's just a word, I think, that describes every division. Let me put, not trigger word, but you said trigger word last week, so it was on my mind.
I grab a lot of them.
I'm calling the AFC East boring.
That's facts. It's nothing but facts.
Obviously, the front runner, I think the front runner, everybody would agree, and Vegas' front runner to win the Super Bowl is the New England Patriots. Honestly, like looking at their schedule, you juggle the opportunity and they ask Belichick about it. Maybe they could go undefeated. Obviously, that's unrealistic to talk about, but we've seen them almost do it once, and with a schedule like they have, how good they looked the last year, and they seemed like they only got better, you would assume there is that opportunity. I don't think they will. Do you think they have an opportunity to go undefeated?
No, that's ridiculous. That's dumb. No. Nobody does.
Obviously. Okay,
No. But I mean, it's the same thing we've been saying for the past 2 years. Now we're in year 3. It's until Brady stops breathing or he's not on the Patriots roster. I mean, it's
Tom
New England
Brady.
into then. It's New England or bust, really.
Tom Brady's 40 years old. They got him Brandon Cooks, who's probably the best receiver since he had Randy Moss, I would, think, right? Edelman did get hurt, but we both said last episode we don't think that's going to hurt them too much. They're going to have like a guy like Hogan step up or whoever else. They had Brandon LaFell forever. They just whoever.
Yeah.
Plus we have Gronk.
He's finally back and healthy.
Don't they have Allen from, what's his name, Dwayne Allen, or the guy he used to play for the Colts. He was the tight end for the Colts. Andrew Luck's tight end for a while. I'm pretty sure
Clark?
No. After him, Dwayne Allen. He was the black one. I can't think of his name. He played. He is going to be on the other side of Gronk, and you know how they work with two tight ends always really well. James White, I think, is going to be the starting running back. I'm not 100% sure. They have a couple guys, obviously. So
Cooks is out there. I mean,
right? We talked about And then their defense, 2 good cornerbacks. They got a guy from Denver. Plus, they still have who's the guy who made the play in the Super Bowl? Butler. They still have him, who he wanted to go to the Saints. Remember, he got traded to the Saints, and then he didn't pass the physical or whatever, and he got traded back, and now he's fine. He's on the Patriots. They have 2 really good corners. Outside of them in that division, okay, because you have Belichick, you have Brady, as you said. That's basically all you need to know.
Right. I mean, the funny thing about them, the only thing that might stop them is this Madden Curse, which nobody wants to talk about, but it's a real thing.
But okay, so they traded Jacoby Brissett. So
which
now
means nothing
all they have is Garoppolo as the backup. Do you think if obviously this Madden Curse happens, Garoppolo
Something's going
would
to
have
happen.
step
Something's
in.
going to happen. Look.
Garoppolo would have to step in. Now, Garoppolo, they're talking about having to franchise him next year or trade him
You're going to have to make a decision.
Free agent or what do you... So, let's say the
Something's
worst case
gonna
scenario,
happen.
Brady gets hurt at 40 years old, you have Garoppolo now. Then
Gronk
you
got hurt last year,
you have
and
to
he was on the
sign-
cover.
Right.
I don't know. As far as him, you're going to have to make a decision. Either something's going to happen. Either they're going to suck, which nobody sees that happening, or Brady's going to get hurt, which you don't want to say. But I mean, this Madden Curse, as much as people want to write it off, it's kind of a real thing.
But they went, what?
Or maybe he's
3-1?
just going to suck. Or just follow time and finally get him. I don't know. Something's going to happen.
They went 3-1 without Brady last year, right? Didn't Garoppolo go 2-0?
Sure.
And then Jacoby Brissett went 1-1.
So you got rid of one of those, but I mean, do you really go Garoppolo? Yeah, him. Is that something to really be excited about? If something does happen to Brady, is that something to really be excited about? No. It is the Patriots, so you would have think it'd be all right.
Had underneath Brady for so long. I mean, that's got to be some kind of value. Plus, you've seen him, and obviously was only in the Patriots system. We saw Matt Castle. We saw how many other quarterbacks fail. And it's not just quarterbacks. How many other coaches that left the Patriots not do all that well after the Patriots? So, it might just be the Patriot system, Belichick system.
Yeah, definitely.
So if Garoppolo were to go somewhere else, sign that big contract, literally, what did Matt Flynn? Didn't he get cut before the season even started?
How many more people are going to do this until these teams realize stop doing that? Stop signing these backups
from the Patriots. So the thing,
just in general, but especially especially from the Patriots.
Flynn was from the Packers, obviously. But my point being, Garoppolo, at least in that system, has proven he can be all right. The Patriots might just want to. He's getting paid more than Tom Brady.
Really?
Yes.
For the year?
Yes.
That's why.
Because Tom Brady keeps taking pay cuts year after year. He took another pay cut.
He's an American hero, Tim Duncan, huh?
Tim Duncan, American hero. 40 years old, playing football for less than everybody else. Still getting more protected than any other quarterback in the league. Not just by the league, but by his offensive line, which is obviously really good year in and year out, and that's what makes them as good as they are. You need an offensive line. You need a defensive line. You have a quarterback. Those are the most important things we talk about often. And they have a good secondary and a good defensive coach, obviously, in the
definitely. I mean, I hear you though, but I mean, get your money, Steve Nash, Kobe.
As I was asking, the rest of the division.
Yeah.
It's kind of, and I know you're not a Cutler believer, so.
Who's he?
Right, and the Bills might be your next best option then if you're not going to go with the Dolphins.
Man, I told y'all last year I gave up on that.
The Jets literally are talking about maybe going 0-16. Are they trusting the process? Are they tanking? Are they trusting the process out there? They traded their best player.
I don't know what that means. I don't condone trusting processes.
I'm taking the Dolphins to finish second in the division. I think Cutler has enough weapons around him, a decent offensive line, but most importantly, and this has nothing to do with the offense. Their defensive line is insanely good. It drug them to the playoffs last year. As good as Tannehill was, I'll give you Tannehill was good, but I think Cutler can be almost that good. Moore was almost that good. Now in the playoffs against the Steelers, a good team, he was not that good. But you're going to see the Jets twice, and you're going to see the Bills twice. That is potential 4 wins right there.
Right.
The rest of your schedule, toss up maybe.
I mean, I wouldn't even mention Cutler at this point. Is it Tannehill? He is a starter until he gets hurt. Oh,
he's out for the season.
That's right.
That's why they signed Cutler.
Oh, that's so gross.
So Cutler is their starter. Matt Moore is the backup. I think Cutler can almost do what Tannehill did, though.
So gross.
That's my point.
When are you going to jump off the Jay Cutler bandwagon? Didn't at one point, I wish I had the footage. At one point last year, you were like, you know what? No, because he was garbage in a game or two or whatever it was.
And then he ended up getting hurt, and I was totally done with him because it just doesn't seem like he cared at all.
Now you're back on. Now he cares.
I'm not thinking
he wasn't just thinking about broadcasting. He's not just worried about getting his money, which is good for him. Get your money. I'm cool with that.
First of all,
so you think he cares now?
What did I say?
He didn't care when he was really playing. Now he's just playing because he got a check.
It's less about him and more about how good their defense is.
Oh my goodness!
It is much less about him than more how good their defense is.
We see you, Denver, but I mean it's Jay Cutler, which is even worse.
He's with Adam Gates, which he had the best season of his career with him, with good offense.
Everybody wants to keep saying that.
He has good weapons.
Who?
He has decent wide receivers in Landry.
Brandon Marshall, is he still there or isn't he a Jet?
Brandon Marshall went to the Jets and then he went to the now he's a Giant.
I don't pay attention to garbage teams, so pardon me.
So
I don't.
Brandon Marshall, I'm pretty sure, was on the Jets for like 3 years, though. Anyways, not the point.
Trying to get my facts straight with garbage. Look, I have...
Don't they have Devon Best? They have,
Yippee-ki-yay.
Okay, so, but, alright, I mean...
So you got them in second.
Because, look at the rest of the division. The Bills, I mean, what do you have with them? Tyrod Taylor, who I like,
A whole lot of nothing.
But yes or no, Tyrod Taylor, I would take Kaepernick over Tyrod Taylor. You?
He was hurt last year. I mean,
Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay, but I would...
I mean, it's kind of hard.
Tyrod Taylor...
What, last year was the second year, correct?
No, Tyrod Taylor was a backup
I don't
for the
know.
Ravens for like
I don't
4
pay
years,
attention
5 years, and then and then last year was the second year as a
That's right.
starter, yes.
I'm thinking of...
With the Bills.
I'm thinking of somebody else.
But, so my point being... I would take Kaepernick over Tyrod Taylor personally. He was a career backup.
Sure.
Okay, so my point... So I think the Bills would even do better with
I would
a
take
quarterback on the
Kaepernick
marker.
over freaking Jay Cutler. What's your point?
All right, I understand
and
that.
you're going with the Dolphins defense. I heard you.
I don't think the Bills
You're not going with the Bills defense with...
I do like Jordan
your favorite
Matthews.
coach, Rex... Oh.
He's gone. They do have an ex-Eagles coach.
Remember you said Rex Ryan is good enough to be... Like, he's good?
I think he should be a defense coordinator somewhere.
And he has no job?
He's for ESPN, bro.
I'm saying in the NFL, like a real job.
I hear you. So the Jets, though.
Check.
They started their starting
not
quarterback.
worth-
They started their starting quarterback.
Who?
They started their starting quarterback, Luke McCown, in their fourth preseason game against the Eagles. Why would you start your starting quarterback? Your starting quarterback week 1. They started him in week 4 of the preseason.
The Jets are possibly the worst team in the NFL, and that's saying a lot when you look at a team like
People
the
are
Browns
talking
and the
about they might
Jaguars.
drop
But I mean,
down. I don't think the Browns are that bad, but we'll talk about that in a second. I think they're bad. We'll talk about that in a second.
horrible.
I don't think they're as bad as the Jets.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I just
People
said,
are talking about this being one of maybe possibly one of the worst teams of all time.
right. That's why I just said.
I don't know if I want to go that far. We're gonna see
I just
first,
said
they trade away
they
all of
might
their
be the
assets.
worst team, and that's saying a lot when you have the Browns and the Jaguars in the same.
They have.
League.
They traded away Sheldon Richardson. They got a wide receiver, but they traded away Sheldon Richardson. I mean,
Oh God,
their
Jets.
best defensive
I mean,
player.
You got the Jets last.
Yeah,
I definitely have the Jets last.
I got the Bills second to last, and the Dolphins coming in second in the division.
I don't disagree with that. I have it on my sheet right here. I have Bills or Dolphins because
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. It's
You don't
really
know,
a
right.
toss-up.
Okay.
But I mean, when I think of Jay Cutler, I think of garbage. So I will probably put the Bills ahead. The Bills are going to have to rely. The thing with the Bills, their secondary is terrible.
Yeah,
They're relying on
And they
a
traded
rookie
away
corner.
they traded away their best secondary player to the Eagles.
They have nothing but rookies and like first-year
I do like
secondary
Jordan
players.
Matthews
So
and LaShawn McCoy as their wide
Right,
receiver and
that's
running
great.
back.
That's
Tyrod
great.
Taylor's
Right.
good. They have a couple
Right.
running backs. They have a decent tight end in Charles Clay.
But I mean, you might be right then. I mean, if it comes down to the Bills' offense with the Dolphins' defense, you would obviously say the Dolphins' defense. But I mean,
Because the Dolphins' defensive line is so good.
right.
Their front seven's very good, and they have a decent secondary as well. But their front seven, I mean, Sue.
But can they score?
Whatever his name is. No, I mean, yeah, I understand offensively. I think Cutler, if he is engaged, and I understand he's given you no reason to. I'm not saying you should believe in him. I'm just
I
saying
will
because of their
never
defense, I
believe in
believe in them. I just said how good he was with Adam Gates.
I think people need to relax. People who keep saying I think need to just relax.
But I have my point is I'm literally going between that and Tyrod Taylor Hope. Do you know what I mean? So like that's like it's
So
not
either way, relax.
pick your poison. Neither of them are going to be that good, and that's why I feel like I just have to pick one. I pick the Dolphins. Moving on to the AFC North.
Mm-hmm.
My word for this one, coaches. I really like 3 of the 4 coaches. The 4th coach we will talk about. I
was gonna say my word's unfortunate
unfortunate for the AFC North. Why is that?
because it's nothing but a bunch of disappointments and injuries, and then you just have the Steelers who are going to be the Steelers.
If Le'Veon Bell stays healthy all season, which I mean I hope for because he's fun to watch, the Steelers will be a potential threat to beat the New England Patriots. They would probably
Easily.
them or the Raiders, and we'll talk about them. I would think are the 2 best teams outside of the Patriots in the AFC. So they
Probably.
would be fighting with the Raiders, and I think that's pretty awesome. That's some historical names right there. But the Steelers. Their defense, look, they've gotten a couple trades. They got J.J. Watt's little brother who's going to start playing linebacker for them. He's going to be their starter week 1.
Cool.
They have been trying to upgrade their defense through trades. They've been trading some picks away. They've been trading some backup offense players away. They got a tight end, if I'm not mistaken, but they do have a tight end out of Penn State that they also like. So they have 2 tight ends now that they're going to be able to go around with. the Steelers are really trying to load up, it looks like, for this exact season.
For Ben's final year, huh?
I mean, he says it's his final year, maybe every year. We'll see.
He's saying this is it, though.
Possibly. I don't know. Good for him if it is. Good, maybe that's what they're doing it for. I would look at it as if they win the Super Bowl, then yeah, I would almost say he's probably going to ride out like that because Bettis did, because his old coach Cowher did. He watched them do that in the beginning of his career.
It's almost fitting, ain't it? It's wild.
So they loaded up. They're trying to at least load up. They're trying to be a little better defensively because that was their weak spot. They were absolutely, their defense to the Patriots offense was so far away from each other.
Defense was trash.
Also, the first quarter of the game was very close between the Patriots and the Steelers. Bell gets hurt, doesn't play the rest of the game, and it becomes a very wide margin. I do maintain that those first 4 games that they played without Bell, they looked disgustingly bad compared to the games they played with Bell. I think they went 2-2 in those games, but they lost 31-3 in Philadelphia. I watched that game, and I just remember thinking 5, 6, 7 weeks later against that that Cowboys Pittsburgh game, I remember thinking, as good as I thought the Eagles can be, it's hard to keep up with as good a team as the Steelers were that day, and I didn't know if they played a game again with Bell healthy or Bell in there instead of being suspended, if the Eagles would have won. Like, I think that was the difference in their gap. So if they can get Bell going all year, I think the Steelers are definitely going to be frontrunners to at least be the next contender to the Patriots. In this division, obviously, because, look, the Ravens had 11 injuries since July 1st. So,
Terrible.
I mean, basically, 9 injuries, and then 1 player retired, and I think another was suspended for the season. So they've had 11 players that are going to miss the entire season that they, July 1st, thought they were going to have after the draft, after free agency. It's just not good, not healthy for the team. Bunch of guys on IR for the second year in a row.
Sucks for them. They're done.
They have a good coach. I like Flacco, and they stay in every game, even with Flacco and how bad their roster was last year. They were still in every game, and they were 1 game away from winning the division. With how bad their roster was last year, they were 1 game away from winning the division. How bad everyone tells me Flacco was, they were 1 game away from winning the division from the Steelers.
Okay, you can say that 4 more times, but I mean, does it matter now?
No, because but I still think, dude, I think they finished second because I said I like.
Wow.
I said I like 3 of the.
So much disrespect.
I don't think
on
Cincinnati's good. I don't think Cincinnati's
good. You just
good.
love Joe Flacco too much because that's one of your trigger words.
I think Andy Dalton needs to have a year where they make the playoffs, or else it's almost time to give up on him.
No kidding.
Marvin Lewis, look,
the Bengals.
I don't like Marvin Lewis. I've come to the conclusion I think they rode him too long. When's the last time they made the playoffs?
I don't disagree. We've been saying that.
So 3 out of 4 coaches in that division I like. I do like Hugh Jackson. I got Cleveland and Cincinnati fighting for 3rd and 4th. I think Cleveland, I want to see what Kaiser does. I don't know.
So
obviously,
wild,
as a Notre Dame fan, I think he's going to be half decent,
man.
but I have no clue how their defense is going to be.
That's so wild. I have Cincinnati second, but it's not a confident second. It's not like, they're going to do
I think the Ravens.
They're not going to get the wild card, but
I think the Ravens will beat them.
You
out for second.
You are so heavy. After everything you just said about
the Ravens. But you don't think
the
the Dolphins, so you don't think anyone in the AFC East or the AFC North can make the wild card?
No.
Okay.
Maybe the Bills, maybe. But
I would say the Dolphins maybe, but okay, but that's literally what our difference was in that division anyway, so that makes sense. Anyways, keep moving on.
Fine.
I don't think the Ravens can make the wild card, but I still think they finish second in the North.
That's so wild to me.
So you have Cincinnati second, Ravens third?
Definitely, yes. Well, and the only reason why the Ravens would be third is because they have the Browns to compete with, which, I mean, the Browns are always going to be last.
If the Ravens didn't have these injuries, would you have them second?
Probably.
Yeah. I think they might even win the division. I think they might even win the division if they didn't have all of them.
I mean, it's typically always Pittsburgh. It's always Pittsburgh, Baltimore. But I mean, there's too much.
Cincinnati threw themselves in there for a couple of years. I just think this is it for Andy Dalton and Marvin Lewis.
Yeah, Cincinnati, their biggest issue is they're always disappointing. But I mean, if they can't at least get second, considering how depleted the Ravens are, then both of them be gone. Both the coach and the quarterback be gone. But I mean, I won't disrespect them and say they can't overcome the Ravens at this point. I mean, that's just completely ridiculous to me.
I think that the Browns have made some good moves over the last season. What they did with the Osweiler contract was actually half decent, and they didn't get that much of a cap hit by cutting him before the season. They got a bunch of draft picks in return for that. They got a lot of cash for a couple players in other directions, so they were able to just pay that contract off like it was nothing in the first place. I understand that they have no basis or nothing to build off of, and they look really bad. But this is the first time that I actually watched their offseason and was like, you know what? There's a method to their madness, and at least they're making an attempt. I will give them It's a start. You have to start somewhere, Dwight. Yes.
They've been starting somewhere for like 30 years.
But this isn't doing what they. This isn't putting their head into the wall over and over and over again. This is them literally.
Okay.
They're not banking entire. Like usually they go all in on a quarterback, right? They're not banking their entire franchise off of Kaiser in any way, shape, or form. They are actually okay if they don't end up doing well because they will get a top pick and get that quarterback. They are building outside of a quarterback, and that's how you win in this league. You need to build from the inside out. They're trying to build a defensive line and an offensive line.
You're exhausting sometimes.
I just think with their coach, they're on the right track. They looked better last year than we expected.
Opportunistic guy. You always looking for the positive, even in the darkest of light. So
yeah,
I'm
a happy guy.
We know Cleveland Browns and Philadelphia, everything we know, and Raiders of last year.
So I guess we're done with that division.
Which you, for once, were partially right. For once,
if
one out of 10 years, the Raiders were good, and you called it.
If Carr didn't get hurt, they might have gone to the divisional round at least.
1 out of 10 years, the Raiders were good. You got that.
All right, so we're going to move on to...
Not giving you the Browns, though.
Next division.
Christ. Yeah.
The AFC South. This is one that has special interest to a homie named Tony.
To his tattoo, he does. This man, for those of you who don't remember, this man has a tattoo of the Titans logo on his, his leg, the back of his leg.
We're going to tweet that out again. JD Sports.
At some point.
Twitter, we're going to probably put it back on the Facebook at some point.
As a Super Bowl winner, this is what this man has tattooed on his leg.
This year. He thinks Mariota and the gang.
When did you get that tattoo? Like March, April?
DeMarco Murray.
Who? Who? Oh, that guy that used to be a Cowboy? What happened to him?
The ex-Eagle.
He disappeared.
The ex-Eagle.
The Cowboy.
The ex-Eagle. I have my name for this division is open.
You get on my nerves.
Well, Dwight, moment of truth. Do you think the Titans even win the division?
Yeah.
Okay. I think they got a good defense.
We already know who you're picking.
Who am I picking?
Andrew Luck and the Colts.
Nope.
Well, you're not picking the Titans.
Nope.
You get on my nerves.
I think Deshaun Watson will be starting by week 5, and I think the Texans, with how good their defense is and how well he has battle tested. He can manage. DeAndre Hopkins is incredibly good.
DeAndre Hopkins is not carrying the entire team by himself.
I don't think he's carrying the entire team by himself. I think they have a good running back in Lamar Miller. I think they have a good offensive line. I think they have good wide receivers. They made the playoffs last year.
They have DeAndre Hopkins.
Look at all of their wins with how bad their quarterbacks were over the last couple of years. Look at how many times they've won. Name their last 5 quarterbacks.
I don't know.
They still made the playoffs, Dwight. I mean, this is crazy how good they've been.
Every year you get a random team that's like 9-7 and randomly gets in, or 8-8 and gets in.
And here's my reasoning for picking them.
And they got smashed in the playoffs. What is your point?
And here's my reason for picking them.
Historian.
And here's the reason I think that.
I don't know. You just gave me 5 reasons.
Here's the reason I think that Watson is going to be better than the Osweiler project. Are you ready?
No.
The owner is who wanted Brock Osweiler, and Bill O'Brien and the GM were both not in on Osweiler. They did not want Osweiler. They did not want to offer him that big contract, but the owner wanted a name like Osweiler. But Bill O'Brien and the GM were fully sold on Watson from everything that I've been informed. I trust Bill O'Brien in quarterbacks. I think the one thing that he has
proven... Didn't you say you gave up on that last year?
No, because I thought that I did not realize that the Osweiler project was not him. I thought that he went out for Osweiler. He did not. I did not realize it was not him. I will give him a mulligan on that if that was the ownership going out of their way and doing that, and if that was not him. If this was his pick, he has done that. Look, Christian Hackenberg looked like a Heisman candidate as a freshman under him. Look at what they did last year with how bad Osweiler was. Look at what they did with guys like named Tom Savage.
Cool.
They made it to the playoffs last year. That's so impressive with how bad their quarterback
every
has
year,
played.
A garbage team randomly seems to get in it.
DeAndre Hopkins is a top 5 talent at wide receiver.
He's not carrying the team by himself. Yeah,
they have a good offensive line, a good running back, and an extremely good front 7. They have what it takes to make the playoffs, even with a rookie quarterback. I think Deshaun Watson steps into the best. I think you got them win the Super Bowl the way you're talking. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I think they win the AFC South.
I win
I think they win the AFC South.
That's amazing considering you jumped off your Mr. Hall of Fame.
Before we go any further, can I give my feel good story of this episode?
Sure. I mean, my feel-good story is the Texans are in third place as far as I'm concerned.
We'll talk
Go
about that in a second. My feel-good story. J.J. Watt started off wanting to just raise $200,000 for Houston. He is up to over $20 million as of this recording. So that is super impressive. Shout out to him. Shout out to every good folk that has helped.
It sucks.
I also
Not that doesn't suck, but the situation sucks.
want to shout out one other person, Stacy Lewis, who is a female golfer on the LPGA. She's from Houston. She's been golfing on the tour, and she hasn't been back to Houston. She talked before the tournament. She said that she feels bad she hasn't been able to go to Houston, but she said that every dollar that she earns during that tournament, whether she finishes in last place or first place, she's going to give to a relief fund, and she won the tournament. And she said that she said that the day before the 4-day tournament. So impressive.
She lucked out on that. That's good.
Shout out to her. That's incredible. I remember I think it was Carpenter of the Cardinals said that if he hits a home run in the next couple of days, he would donate X amount of dollars, and then somebody else said they would donate whatever he did.
Was it him or somebody else? Was it him or somebody else that I thought somebody said it was every home run?
Yeah, right. I forget what it was, but then the pitcher Adam Wainwright said he'll do it too, and then the guy hit the home run that day. Cool. So that was awesome and impressive. Yeah. It's just all these feel good stories. But shout out to J.J. Watt, shout out to Stacey Lewis, shout out to everybody, all the sports athletes, and shout out to Houston, Texas. We know it's. And shout out to Florida because it's about to come hit them. Another one. We're shout out
to the Caribbean.
We're definitely watching out for all of that. The Carolinas, all of that. Shout out to my old home, Ocean City. Hopefully it doesn't tear
Puerto Rico.
Any of that. All of it. Every Dominican. All of it.
I know some people in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, me too. I know some people in the Dominican Republic right now. So
I know. Grand Cayman. Yep.
It's not.
Shout out to y'all.
It's scary. So everyone stay safe. Hopefully, this does not hit as bad as they say it is.
Yeah. All right, so that went from a feel good to a Debbie Downer.
Right, but back to the feel good. Yeah, shout out to J.J. Watt. So
yeah,
the Titans. You pick the Titans to win?
Yeah, I have to. I mean,
I have a feel good for them too. Can I quickly shout that out?
Sure. I was gonna say why, but why?
Tim Shaw, who was an old linebacker for them a couple years ago, he played 6 years for them. He ended up being a captain for them when he was on the special teams at the end of his career. He has ALS. That's why he had to retire. They actually voted him as the team. The players voted him as a captain this year, even though because he made a speech to them before the season started, and when they were voting for team captains, they wrote him in as a captain. So he's going to go attend every game as a team captain and walk out and do the coin toss with them. So I thought that was a really cool feel-good story. That was cool that A, the players banded together and did that.
Yeah, definitely.
And B, it's probably so uplifting for him. And that's really cool that the Titans and the NFL and everyone is allowing that, because usually you're not allowed players who are not on the team to be captains. So special guest every now and then type thing. But he's going to be able to do it all season long as long as he wants to. So that's really awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
But so you have the Titans winning. I think that their defense is better. I do think that I think Mariota is good. Now I want to see Mariota coming off this injury. That would be my only worry with him. But I'm not even worried about that personally.
The offense has gotten a lot better. They added.
Their offensive line is good.
This is the thing with the Titans.
Decker.
I had Tennessee last year, right? You were shaking that whole camera, just letting you know, because I could see the box shaking. I'm just letting you know. The thing with the Titans, I had them last year towards the end, right? Mm-hmm. But like we were just saying, Mariota has so many weapons around. He added Eric Decker and who's the other guy? Rashard Matthews.
Yes.
Delanie Walker's there.
Delaney Walker.
He has DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, he has a good offensive line.
He has
they can put up 25 to 30 points, 35, 40 points.
Marcus Mariota,
25 plus points a game.
It's time or never, literally. I mean, last year he had...
Third year in the league coming off an injury. I wouldn't go that far, but I think this is an opportunity for him to step up and go forward.
To me, your third year, I mean, it wasn't like he was out the whole season last year. Yeah, he had an injury, but I mean, it was towards the end of the year.
That's still a tough injury.
It'd be all right. I mean, last year he had 600 more yards than he did his rookie year. He had 7 more touchdowns. He had 1 less interception. Cool. Now, build on that. I don't want to see a stagnant year. I don't want to see him float around the same numbers. I want to see do more. Yeah, you had your injury. Cool, whatever. I think it's time for him to get towards that next level. And can he do it? I don't know. But this will be the time that he needs to start looking like he's going that route, or he's just going to be this stagnant player who's going to be very good, maybe not great, but it's time to figure that out. And this is the time. They gave you everything that you need offensively. There's no more excuses as far as that's concerned. The division's relatively weak, in my opinion, so
I'll give you this. I have the Texans winning the division for all those reasons I said, but at the same time, I have the Titans.
but sure.
I have the Titans making the wild card. Who do you have finishing second then?
I have the Colts second.
And then do you have the Texans third?
Yeah.
Jags fourth because the
course,
Jags are starting Henny. I think the Jags have
Jags.
a good wide receiving core. I have no clue how their defense is going to be, their offensive line. I have them finishing last as well. I don't like Henny anyways as a quarterback. If Blake Bortles isn't starting, that's a problem for them as well.
The Texans, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I'm cool with the wide receiver. That's about it.
I have the Colts finishing third.
The Colts I have second, and it's one of those default situations where it's like, sure.
This Andrew Luck thing scares me. And if he doesn't play, they have no shot because he carried them. Look, this guy.
They added nothing, really. You see how much Tennessee added? The Colts added nothing.
I know how you feel about Andrew Luck, but like the reason I was always
don't dislike him.
I know that.
Clarify
I know
for
that.
people who are new. I don't dislike Andrew Luck. I dislike his Hall of Fame. He's the greatest of all time hype.
I don't think
which isn't what people are saying, but it's basically implied the way that people have been hyping him up.
But I watched him drag a really bad team, a very bad team, to the AFC Championship game.
And he's not doing it this year.
But because he's always injured. That needs, like, I don't know how that fixes. Right, he's always getting hit because his team is so bad. He is carrying. He is the only part of their team. He's the only part of their team. Even healthy, I think he ends up getting hurt by the end of the season. Mm-hmm. And even if I would love to watch him drag this team to an AFC Championship. That would be fantastic. It would be super impressive. Superman-like. It's incredible what he did his first couple years in the league.
Yeah,
I understand your reservations, but it's just for somebody who watched him do what he did, it's hard for me to.
I like him,
and it sucks because
I want to see him do well, but
I don't think he's going to play for the first couple weeks, to be honest with you. And it's weird. They're not really giving. It's the oddest injury I've seen in the NFL because there is no timetable on. They're not saying if it's 1 week. They're not saying if it's the whole season. We don't even really know exactly what it is. We just know it's still his shoulder. Like it's
not good. Is it a throwing shoulder?
I think so. Still, so we're.
I don't know.
I have them finishing third because I just don't know the Luck situation. I would love to watch them pull it off, though, obviously. But
I got them second or third. That's cool. I got them second. But
like I said, the Texans are my surprise of the year. AFC West, Dwight.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
That's actually my word.
This is why we do a show. I don't
That's
know why
literally my word. I have it right here. It's interesting.
That's funny.
That's crazy. So we both talked about how good we think the Raiders are. Right off the bat,
we are that we both had the same word.
Before we start getting into the division, we both think the Raiders are good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always show me instead of tell me kind of guy, and they showed me last year. Can you do it again? No, I'm always do it more than once. So
I understand. How do you come back from that?
Right.
Carr getting hurt last year, as I said, would be a reservation, but I'm not even really scared about it. Just like I'm not scared about the Mariota thing. It's the same exact situation to me.
Yeah.
Their defense does alarm me, but they do have Khalil Mack, who I think can be a defensive MVP caliber kind of player. He's incredible talent. Mm-hmm. Outside of him, question marks a lot up and down the board. But last year they won a lot of wild games. They won more games at the 1 o'clock slot than any other team from the West Coast did, which that's impressive to me. That shows me the durability and the understanding. And maybe it's just 2017 technology of being able to fly across country quicker than ever before and being able to adjust your body to time frames better than ever before. And they probably practice on different whatever. But no other team has ever done what they did. They went undefeated in the 1 o'clock time slot last year, and they played more games than anybody in the history of the NFL in the 1 o'clock time slot for 420 or for teams that are West Coast. So that's incredible in and of itself to talk about. But their defense would scare me, as we talked about. Do you, outside of their defense, have any question marks? I think their offensive line's good. I think they have a couple good running backs, yes.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I think what puts them over the hump this year, I have them in first place in the division this year.
Okay.
I think Marshawn Lynch puts him over the hump. I don't even have a question mark about him because, honestly, I think it's an Adrian Peterson situation. I think he had a year off. He got himself, healthy, and he's cool and he's chilling. I think he comes back, and maybe he's not exactly, quote, beast mode, but I think he's maybe a notch down, which is still pretty darn good. He's going to still be a top 3 to 5 running back
for his style
in the league because there's no good running backs.
For his style of running to take a year off is nothing but helpful.
Cool. Adrian Peterson did the same thing.
Him, Cooper, Crabtree on the other side. They have decent tight ends up and down. They,
That
like I
offense
said,
was gonna be
I like their
nasty.
offensive line, and as good as Carr is, deserving of the contract he's been given. We just like
Do it again.
like we talked about. Yeah, the do it again. I like that.
Do it
and
again
their
with
defense is
the great running back.
Their defense is to me their biggest question. But like I can't wait to watch Khalil Mack this year, and maybe they are better. Maybe they're better than expected defensively. So we'll see. They open up with the tough with the Titans with the tough one. So we'll talk about that.
Tough one for me to pick.
A little later, yeah, we'll definitely get there. So the rest of this division, man, I really was like up and down. A lot of people are telling me they think the Chiefs are going to take a step back. A lot of people are telling me the Chargers are going to be better than I can ever expect.
I agree with one of those
The
statements.
Broncos signed Brock Osweiler.
Who?
How does that come full circle?
Who?
He wasn't really that good with them even when the year they won the Super Bowl. Didn't he go 1 or 2 and 5 or 2 and 4? Didn't he played all right, but then he didn't play that good. And then Manning came back in, saved the day, won the Super Bowl.
Are you talking about the WWE superstar that he was a champion?
No, I'm talking about the one who
Brock
went.
Lesnar?
No, the Browns the Browns traded for him from the Texans just this offseason and then cut him, and then the next day the Broncos
Browns
picked him up.
cut you.
Mhm. Yeah, but he does have a Super Bowl ring, so that's more than Dan Marino.
This guy with his shots. Did you see that one
I
meme
like
that's
Dan
been
Marino.
going around the
like Dan
internet? I
Marino.
feel like he.
It's not a shot. I'm just you know my point. That's
I
why-
might need to wear his jersey next week.
Dude, I love Dan Marino.
I know, but I still might need to wear his jersey next week. Did you see that thing? I'm sure you did. The meme where it says Brock Osweiler's career makes more sense going backwards. where he finishes off with the Super Bowl. It just makes more sense. Just think about his career and go backwards, and it makes a lot more sense.
I get it.
It's
yeah.
funny.
I get it. If you full circled the other
funny.
way
It's
instead
funny.
of full circle
It's
this
funny.
way.
It's funny.
Um.
Because he ends with the Super Bowl instead of starting with one. It's funny.
I got the Raiders winning. I got the Chiefs, then the Chargers, then the Broncos. I think the Broncos' defense is extremely good, but I think that's only good enough to win about 4 to 6 games. I think of the Chargers, I don't know. I like Keenan Allen. They did have a wide receiver get hurt. Phillip Rivers is Phillip Rivers.
You hate on him so much, and yet he slurped Joe Flacco just a bit ago, didn't he?
Joe Flacco had
And
more
with
playoff
11
wins, more
with
recent
11
playoff
with
wins, and a
11
Super
less
Bowl ring,
players,
and a
11
Super Bowl
injuries
ring.
and suspensions and all this and the third, but he still got Joe
I like the
Flacco
Chargers'
second.
defense better than I like the Ravens' defense. I like Joey Bosa and Manti Te'o.
But the Chargers are in last place.
No, second to last in the division. I got the Broncos in last.
Oh, pardon me.
I got the Chiefs because I like Alex Smith. I like the defense, and I think Andy Reid's consistent at 8 to 10 wins every year.
You're inconsistent with Phillip Rivers and Joe
I think
Flacco, but
6 to 8 wins for Phillip Rivers this year. Look, he's a tier 3 quarterback to me. I don't. He's in the Stafford era, in the Stafford range. He has more.
he's inconsistent with Joe Flacco.
He has
and
more
Phillip
playoff
Rivers.
wins than Stafford, who people were trying to convince me was the MVP for for 8 games last year. Which
Anyway, we're not getting into that
We'll talk
conversation
about
again.
Stafford.
I got the Chiefs second. I think they're taking a step back this year. I never really believed in them in the first place. And then I got the Broncos third personally. I do have the Chargers last, but the reason I have the Broncos third and Chargers last is because the Broncos defense.
So you got the Chiefs second.
Yes.
Do you think they can make the playoffs?
Yeah.
I have them as a wild card.
Yeah, I put them as a wild card. Yes. But I have the Broncos third just because I think their defense is still going to be enough to keep them afloat ahead of the Chargers. I mean, as much as I don't hate Phillip Rivers, I just don't think he can compete with the other factors. You got a dominating Raiders team. You got the Chiefs. They're still going to be good. The Broncos defense is great. I don't think the Chargers. I don't think the Chargers can compete with that.
I do. I think the Chargers will beat the Broncos at least one of the 2 times.
Okay, that's cool.
I mean, the Chiefs' defense. That's the only concern for me, but I feel like that's been a concern year in and year out for me.
And
they
they
end up
keep being a top 5 defense.
Being 8 to 12 win team every year. So we'll see. I think Alex Smith has that veteran leadership, and that's a spot even though Patrick Mahomes is there.
Reid.
Andy Reid being Andy Reid, you know how I feel about that. So obviously that's why I have him second.
Who's the running back this year?
I
forget off the top of my head.
Toronto West, I think. Toronto West. And then
I
they have
forget.
the other guy, Ty, I forget his name. Jamal Charles is with Denver.
Right.
So
that helps. That does help them.
We'll see what's
That helps a
happening.
lot.
Yeah, right. And they'll see if Brock Osweiler is probably going to be their starter, I presume. So that'll be interesting as well.
It's wait. All I'm going to say about
Trevor
this.
Siemian?
I'm just saying.
Them and the Jets could really use Kaepernick. Them, the Jets, and the Bills could all use Kaepernick, and they would all end up
I'm
being
just
better.
saying. People are.
If Kaepernick was the Broncos quarterback,
know,
do you have them higher than third? I have them higher than fourth, that's for sure.
No, I'd keep him at third. No,
I'd probably keep him at third as well,
I'd
but
keep
I'd
him
have
at
him
third.
higher than fourth.
But I mean,
do they win at least 1 or 2 more games with Kaepernick than they would without him as Osweiler's their quarterback? Or Simeon?
I don't know. They're still in third place to me. But
One or two more?
Sure, maybe. But I mean, I just think it's funny because Kaepernick's quote
Trying to
garbage.
get a
But
controversial hot take out.
But I mean, Colin Kaepernick's quote garbage. But I mean, Brock Osweiler has been floating around, and he just got signed
he
again.
got traded to 2 different teams. He got traded to a team this offseason.
Got cut by the Browns.
Signed the same day.
The Cleveland garbage
Then
Browns.
signed the same day.
The audacity of the Cleveland Browns.
He couldn't beat out
cut
Deshaun
you.
Kaiser. He couldn't beat out Deshaun Kaiser.
But the Denver Broncos said, we want you. But Colin Kaepernick, you can just sit there with your afro and take a knee, bro. I'm just saying. The NFL.
Michael, eles não ligam pra gente.
On to the NFC, Dwight.
Yep.
We're going to go backwards. We went AFC East to AFC West. We're going to go AFC West to NFC West to NFC East.
Sure about that? That
because
sounded like it was a challenge that you weren't too sure.
we are big NFC East fans, obviously, around here. My word for the NFC West is weak.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Seahawks offensive line. I do know about their defense. Their defense is really good. I like their wide receivers. Russell Wilson was Superman at times last year.
Of course.
They won the division. Everyone thought the Cardinals were going to be the competitive team with them. They ended up just blowing everyone away in that division.
Yeah, Cardinals was just a disappointment all year.
Their defense, the Seahawks defense was really good.
Always are.
For a second, I thought they might take a step back. They trade for Sheldon Richardson, and I'm like, you know what? With Bennett, even though I'm not the biggest Sherman fan, they have Earl Thomas. They have Chancellor on the other side.
Yep.
They rotate cornerbacks everywhere else. And as much as I'm not a Pete Carroll fan, they have Pete Carroll, who is always a good defense coach, just like Bill Belichick is. So they are kind of they're not the Patriots of the West, but they run a good defensive system. They're always consistently there. They have a quarterback that'll get you there. I do think they need to get better on the offensive line. And their running backs have not been that good since Marshawn Lynch has left, but I think that has as much to do with the offensive line as anything. I don't know if Russell Wilson can be as Superman as he was last year, but the defense is better. Do you have them winning the division?
Seahawks, yeah, definitely. It's not even a conversation to me.
That's why I said weak.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just to get into it, I got the Cardinals second.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, that's they were such a disappointment last year that it's a by default situation with me.
I have the Cardinals second as well. My question to you, and I feel like I'm going to have a 2-part question. One,
Okay.
is Palmer too old? Is it too late? Do they need to figure out a future quarterback like tomorrow, or like do you think that he is good enough to get them a wild card berth this year?
Yeah. It's a situation they need to look to past this year, but I don't think they need one tomorrow. No.
They have a really good running back. Do you think they need a draft day quarterback next year?
Yeah.
Go
definitely.
after one in free agency or something like that?
Yeah, it's time to
Kaepernick?
move forward.
Question mark.
It's just going to keep... Kaepernick's just going to be the season LOL, isn't he?
My B question is...
The answer is no, because they're not signing him. So I'm not even going to bring him
My
up.
B question is, and I feel like we're going to have the same opinion on this, but I want to ask anyways. Is Fitzgerald too old?
No.
No, I
No,
completely
he's a
agree.
monster. Apparently
He
this
slowed
is his
down a
last
little
year.
bit.
Did he say it was last year?
I don't know. Everyone's last year is last year. Brett Favre, it might be the Undertaker's last year. Fitzgerald,
I'm pretty sure he said it was his last year.
he slowed down a little bit, but I mean, he still has what it takes, just like the C. Smith thing. He always has what it takes.
I got him in my fantasy league again because I'm not dumb like I was a couple years ago.
I'm interested to see how they are moving forward this year. I like their defense, obviously. The Honey Badger, Patrick Peterson. I like their front seven, Dockett.
I liked them going in last year too, and they kind of just
they were a little
deflated.
disappointing, but the rest of their division, look, they have 4 wins in the Niners and the Rams,
Garbage.
right?
Garbage. Yeah.
I have no clue about the Niners because Brian Hoyer, and the constant thing about these good and bad teams do we always talk about is quarterbacks. Brian Hoyer, I mean, he's going to be their starting quarterback. And the Rams starting quarterback might be Jared Goff, maybe. It's not Nick Foles, who it was last year. I don't know who the Rams starting quarterback's going to be. Case Keenum?
Who? Girls.
Who cares? Because that's what I have written behind the Rams on here. I don't know. Look, their defense,
I mean,
their
for
best
both,
defensive
for both
player,
of those teams,
the
it's who
best
cares?
defensive player in the league, maybe, behind J.J. Watt and people talk about who from Denver, what's his name, Von Miller. People talk about Aaron Donald.
Cool.
He said he's going to sit out at least half the season because at the end of this year he's a free agent, so he has a guaranteed contract coming his way, probably $100+ million on a different team because he doesn't want to go to the Rams.
And he's zip setting.
Good idea on his part.
Duh.
To sit out 8 games.
Why not?
Gonna get a $100 million contract probably next year. I honestly
why hurt
Go
yourself?
get your money, boo boo.
Why hurt yourself?
Here's my
for
thing.
a garbage team.
Because of that alone, I don't think the Rams are going to win many games. They're going to compete with the Jets as the worst team in
Their
the
last
league.
place, yeah, definitely.
They'll be going for number 1 next year, maybe after a quarterback that also shares the same venue as them. Sam Darnold out of USC. We'll talk about that. They have Jared Goff though, right?
Yippee.
So
Yippee. They have Todd Gurley, who...
I like Todd Gurley, but their offensive line needs to get better, and their defense.
And it hasn't. So, no, I got them in last place.
I like the Niners coach. They got the offense coordinator, Shanahan, from Atlanta last year, which they broke records in Atlanta. They only scored under 20 points once all season. It was against the Eagles. I was there. Brian Hoyer is still their quarterback, though, and that's just the alarming thing. I don't know anything about their wide receivers. They do have the decent running back, I think. I don't know much about their offensive line, their defense. Their first overall draft pick, their linebacker, is going to sit out all season due to an injury. So I just don't see the Niners taking that step forward this year. It's a rebuilding year, obviously. Lynch is the new GM for them. They got rid of Kaepernick with that contract. Everyone got paid, and it worked out for everyone. So they got to figure out a quarterback moving forward. Maybe they're going after Sam Darnold, the Wyoming quarterback, as well. I can't think of his name at this moment. But Hawks and Cardinals. Do you think the Cardinals can make the wild card?
No.
The NFC is wide open. We'll talk about
It
that
is
in a
wide
second.
open, but I'm going to say no.
I'm going to go to the NFC South next. My highlight thing there, my word, quarterbacks, man. I like the quarterbacks in this obviously. Cam, Matt Ryan, Jameis. I'm a Jameis guy. And Drew Brees. You can't ever go against Drew Brees.
There are a lot of quarterbacks, yeah.
I'm very interested in, because I think that this is probably the most unpredictable division, maybe. I think this is up there with some of the most unpredictable divisions this year.
So who do you first or second, yeah.
Who do you have winning this division?
Might surprise you. It might. I'll go with Tampa Bay.
Oh,
I'm going Tampa Bay.
I like Tampa.
I feel like it's the Mariota situation. It's time
Jameis.
to put up or stop. I'm saying it's similar to the Mariota situation where it's time to put up or just go away. As far as I'm concerned, either you're gonna be great or you're gonna be all right or you're just not gonna do anything. I feel like James could potentially be better than what he's been in the years past, just like Mariota. I feel like they can go up another level.
Those wideouts, that tight end.
Right, definitely. You got Deshaun Jackson out there. He had a good, like I said, he had a good year last year.
They had a good tight end last year, and then they drafted O.J. Howard out of Alabama, who was very good as well. Deshaun Jackson, Mike Evans, who is a top wide receiver.
Right.
Good running backs, and Doug Martin, who's suspended for the first couple games, but when he comes back, he'll be healthy. They have a good offensive line.
Defense is all right.
Defense played very well last year. Was putting pressure on the quarterback. You have Gerald McCoy. You have Noah Spence.
Unlike Mariota, his second year wasn't that much different from his rookie year. Yeah, Jameis. That's what I'm saying. Unlike Mariota, his second year, Jameis, wasn't as good. Wasn't much better, from his first year. But like I'm saying, it's time. It's time for him to go to that next level. So I need to see, especially with him, more than Mariota. I need to see a difference in his stats. I need to see a different, just his composure. I need to see everything different from Jameis. I need to see him take it to that next level. Otherwise, I'm going to be done with him, frankly.
This is the 22nd season
and
of this.
And I think that they might just do it this
This is the 22nd season of this division, and only once has it been won back-to-back. It was 2 years ago when the Panthers won it back-to-back.
So the Falcons take a dip?
Who do you have coming in second before I tell you who I think is going to win the division?
I got the Falcons in second. I think that they swap with Tampa Bay this
year. Do you think they make the wild card?
Yes.
Who do you have in third?
The Panthers.
Do you think they can make a wild card? Do you think 3 teams can make a wild card from this division?
No.
I have the Panthers winning the division. I think their defense needs to get better. I like the weapons Cam has around them, and I think their offensive line is healthy. Cam needs to play a lot better than he did last year, obviously, throughout the middle of the season, but he was carrying them last year. So he had very good moments. He needs to just play a little smarter, but honestly, I like McCaffrey. I like what he brings to the table. I think their defense is healthy. I think Davis is healthy. Kuechly looks good. Their secondary, it's second year in, so that's honestly their biggest question mark. Is their secondary, and their offensive line has to play better. But as good as Cam has been, over the last, I'd say 37 games of his career. I mean, honestly, in the last 37 games of his career, I would say 30 of them, he was like the best player on the field in 30 of the 37 games. So I honestly can say
on his team, yes.
I think in the whole game of 30 of 37, he was very impressive in so many games, even in some losses. He was carrying his team.
I'd go on a limb to say that was inflated, but all right, that's cool.
It's the same reason I had the Andrew Luck. Look how good, like Andrew Luck was carrying a very bad team for a very long time. It's just Cam wasn't able to get the amount of wins, but he also
had a lot of bad games last year.
Yeah, he had a
lot of bad games.
He had about 4 or 5 bad games last year.
So he only had 2 the rest of his career?
No, not the rest of his career. Last year, he's played in 50-plus games. I mean, I'm talking his first 20 games, he was hit or miss. His first game was super impressive, and then the next game he falls downhill because he throws 7 touchdowns or 6 touchdowns in his first game. I think he threw 3 interceptions in the second game. Like that was Cam Newton's first 20-25 games. But I think he's in his last almost 35 to 40 games, he has been very consistent. No, 35 to 40. I said 37, but 35 to 40 is where you're at that range. I think he's been super consistent. Anyway,
regardless, so where do you have?
He was rated the best player in the league just 2 years ago. I mean, that's how impressive he has been. I have them winning the division. I have the Bucs coming in second. I have them both making the playoffs. I have Atlanta coming in third. The Super Bowl hangover is real to me, and I have gone against it year after year after year, and this is the first year I'm going with it, and that means that Atlanta will probably win the division. I like Matt Ryan, but he needs to do it back-to-back years because honestly, before last year, people were not talking about Matt Ryan. Even though he's been really good, he's always had Julio Jones.
He's always been very good.
He's always been very good. He's always been in the top 2 tiers. I will not disagree with that. My point is he's a very not talked about quarterback before last year. Last year they set records. Last year he put himself on the map as one of the top tier quarterbacks. What do you always say? Back it up. I'm not saying he can't. I think
how he used that when it's convenient. Cool.
Will you use it when it's convenient for you?
I say that all the time.
Are you saying it for the Atlanta?
They've always been very good.
They're
what do you mean?
The thing that my biggest reason
Matt Ryan, he's always been very good. So where are you getting at with Atlanta?
As good as last year because he was never people have not talked about him the way they were talking about last year. He was an MVP caliber quarterback last year. He was never been talked about.
He wasn't playing like an MVP. He was playing very good, but he wasn't an MVP.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He took a step up. Do you think he stays in that class? Do you think he stays in that elite top 5 level class this year?
As a quarterback? Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
The reason I would say not, and maybe because he actually takes control of the offense, so maybe he will. But they don't have Shanahan, who I thought was the best coordinator in the league last year. I think that has a big thing to do with why I have them as the 3rd team in this division. I don't think that it's impossible for them to come back and be that team. I just do believe that Curse might have something to go with it.
I mean, look here. I got
plus, their defense is a little weary sometimes, as good as they are, because they were very strong last year at times. Mm-hmm. They are susceptible to pretty deep plays, and they're going to place a first-place schedule, not a fourth-place schedule this year because they finished 4th the year before because they had injuries. So it's one of those things, or 3rd the year before, so 3rd place. So either way, it's going to be a little more difficult for them to win than it was last year. They have the talent, don't get me wrong. They just went to the Super Bowl, obviously. I'm not saying that it's impossible for them to go win that division. I just have them as 3rd.
I have them second. I do believe in this Super Bowl hangover type of thing, but I don't think that it's going to be that drastic this year with this team. I just think that the offense is too stacked to really. I don't have them as 3rd. I have them as 2nd place. I have Carolina 3rd, switching spots with the Saints, which we'll get to. But I think the Panthers are. I think they're better than what they were last year. I still don't think that they're You
think they're rebuilding?
In a sense. I don't think that it's a drastic rebuilding where at the bottom of it it's like, oh my God, start over. They have some pieces, but they're not, to me, they're not a 2nd place team. They're not a 1st place team in the division. I would put them 3rd, and I would put the Falcons, like I said, I think that they have the pieces to be right there. If not in
Really good
first
running
place,
back.
I'm not going to be shocked if they're in first place. Let's just get that out the way. I'm going out on a limb with this Tampa Bay situation.
Everything
I'm not
I
going to be
said.
surprised if Atlanta is first place. I'm really not, because I think that their offense is great enough, and I'm saying great, not good, great enough that they will be competitors. I do have them, according to this listing, as a wild card team, but I'm not going to be surprised if they end up winning this division and just go flat out.
I do
I
think
won't be
they have
surprised by that.
obviously a good offensive line, a good running back, a good quarterback, and a good wide receiver, which I always talk about. You need a good running back, or I mean a good offensive line, a good quarterback, and a good defensive line. They have like the pieces that I always talk about to be a successful team. Now it's gonna go deeper into coaching. Dan Quinn's a good coach defensively. I think that's what made their defense as good as it was last year. We will see. My question to you about New Orleans is, obviously Drew Brees is good. There's got to be a time where you start to, I mean, nothing against Drew Brees, but like, as good as it is and as fun as it is to watch him and Roethlisberger and Brady and all, Manning and all those guys, he was of that era where it's going to be time soon for him to take a step forward. Or are they going to have to start thinking about a quarterback down the future here in the next year or two?
No.
You think he's going to play for another 3 or 4 years?
Yeah.
Their wide receivers are still impressive even without Brandon Cooks, yes?
I don't.
I like their wide receivers.
I
So
don't know.
Snead,
I don't
even
know.
though he's going to miss a couple games, I like Snead.
My thing is with them, you're not going to say Brady, oh, it's time for New England. You're really not going to look at New England and say, okay, they have to go after a quarterback. They absolutely have to. So to me, it's the same thing with New Orleans, that they absolutely have to. Yeah, it could be a conversation with New England. It could be a conversation with the Saints. But I don't think you necessarily need to go there because Brady's that good, because Drew Brees is that good. Difference is, Brady has Bill Belichick. He has that whole system, blah, blah, blah. The Saints have nothing but Drew Brees.
I like their offense. I don't like their defense.
But you're not going. But you're not looking at the Saints saying.
Before we break the Saints down real quick,
you're not saying you need anything. Like when you look at the Saints, you're saying they need everything but a quarterback. You're not saying they need a quarterback. You're really not saying that.
But you need to start building from the inside out. Anyways, not my point. My point being,
no.
do you think a team like Pittsburgh needs to start looking future? Like, do you think a team like
With the guy saying he's going to retire, yeah.
trying to think of other
And when you
teams
say
that might
looking
need
at the future
quarterback.
with this, when you're saying look at, well, if you're talking about quarterback, then the Steelers do
quarterback in
need
the
to.
future, but that's what I'm saying. So
Sure.
like, so but
Because
you don't
Amanda's
find the Saints
saying
to
he's
be,
retiring.
So do you find it to be more dire for the Saints or for the Steelers to find a quarterback? You would think the
The
Steelers.
Steelers,
would be
because
the Saints retire.
because
Okay.
supposedly this is it for him.
What
Drew
about-
Brees, we don't know. Drew
All right.
Brees can keep going.
Do you need to move on from Andy Dalton quicker or Drew Brees?
Andy Dalton's young. I mean, he's not old, but he's not young. But he's.
But yeah, he hasn't played. It's not that he hasn't played that well. They haven't been successful in the last couple of years. Do you get rid of a coach? before
Okay,
you
you're
get rid of-
comparing Andy Dalton and Drew Brees. Drew Brees is great. You're not going to just get rid of him.
I got you.
You're not just like you weren't going to get rid of. Well, I was going to get rid of Peyton Manning a couple years ago in Denver,
Adrian
and I said
Peterson.
he should be starting, and they won a Super Bowl.
Adrian Peterson with the Saints. Do you think that boosts their offense a lot or a little? It helps.
It helps. I'm not going to say it's going to be a lot.
You think they run more?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
He's going to take the load off of Drew Brees. I didn't even think about
helps.
that, but yeah, that's definitely going to help.
Okay.
I don't think
That prolongs Drew Brees' career.
maybe by a year or two. I'm not saying Drew Brees is going to stick around for 4 years. I'm not.
They don't
saying
pass
that.
it 57 times, 67 times a game. They
right.
pass it 71
You can
times
split
a game.
between
Once last
two
year,
old
honestly,
heads.
They pass it like 64 times a game a couple times.
So you split it between these two old heads that are on their way out. They close their careers together, and you hope that they can be decent and respectable. I'm cool with it. I'm not going against Drew Brees or Adrian Peterson for that matter. But outside of that, they don't have anything in my opinion.
With all that said, New Orleans will probably most likely win the division since we both have them fourth. The NFC North.
Yeah, what about it?
My word for them, fake. 3 or 4 teams are fake, and I don't know how real the Packers are because I'm just afraid of their defense. I love Aaron Rodgers on the field. I like Aaron Rodgers more off the field this year than ever before. I think that he's starting to mature and understand his role as the quarterback because he used to throw a lot of people under the bus, but now he's able to kind of take his methodical steps. I like him in interviews more. I think the way he's talking post games are better. I'm just a fan of the way Aaron Rodgers has conducted himself in the last 12 months, and he has played as the best quarterback in the league, probably over that time frame as well. Even though people like to say Matthew Stafford, also in that division, is the best quarterback in the league. He's higher paid than Aaron Rodgers because
Nobody says that. What are you talking about? What is this sly shade that you throw out? Nobody says Matthew Stafford's the best quarterback.
There was
in the
two
league.
guys on ESPN. I can't think of their name. They were talking about
In the league?
over 8 weeks last year. They were talking about who was the best quarterback.
Who's still
in the
watching
league.
ESPN? First of all,
I understand. So,
I'm just saying.
Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. I have them winning the division. You?
Is it a conversation?
Do you believe in their defense as a team that can get them to the Super Bowl?
No.
And that's the scary part,
Defense
right?
is
And that's what
garbage.
hurt. That's why I called it a fake division, because I like Aaron Rodgers, I like the Packers, I just can't get behind this defense.
It's you want to talk about somebody carrying the team, a quarterback carrying the team.
Oh.
It's the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, he's
And
incredible.
it's not even.
He's incredible.
And they're not better off this year than they were last year, really.
Who do you have
They
finished
got
second?
Jordy Nelson's coming back, but I mean,
I like Jordy.
Yeah.
Who do you have finished second?
Falcons, Vikings.
Me too. I have the Vikings. I like their defense.
Vikings.
You?
Yeah.
I think Bradford's good enough to finish them second. Do they make a wild card? They compete for a wild card, right?
They're in a conversation.
I don't
but
think they
no,
make a wild
but
card.
No.
Who do you have third?
Lions.
The highest paid quarterback in the league can't get higher than third in his own division?
Nope. Okay, you keep saying this highest paid thing. You keep taking shots. You keep throwing shade. Can we just get over that?
Can I throw a stat? Can I throw
No,
just one stat?
Listen for 5 seconds for
I
once.
will.
No, because get over it.
I'm
It's
over it. I'm not mad at him.
You throw like
Go get
three.
his money, boo boo. I'm not even mad at Matthew Stafford. I just want to throw some stats out here.
Can I just throw him out? Sentence out here. First of all, you threw about now like 4 shots at him, but I'm just saying this happens more than once a year at
Yes.
every position in the NFL. This is why it's not a big deal to me. Everybody keeps bringing up, oh, he's the highest paid NFL quarterback in history. And in 6 months, it's going to be somebody else.
Yes.
It doesn't matter to me. It's not a big deal. Relax. So what?
David
Who
Carr-
cares?
David Carr
And guess
again.
what? What I keep saying, it was a
Derek
Tony Romer situation.
Mhm.
If you get rid of him,
What are you going to do?
so who cares?
I don't
Good
disagree.
for Detroit.
I'm not
Stop
even mad.
hating on this man.
I'm not hitting on him.
But are you not? Are you not?
I'm being sarcastic. It's jokes.
You're hating on him.
It could be funny.
You're still hating on him.
It could be funny.
It's
I'm going
not-
to throw a stat out to you.
Well, of course you are.
Because Derek Carr is the only other quarterback to not ever have a playoff win and be the highest paid quarterback in the league, and that was literally right before Stafford. But let me put it to you this way.
Cool.
Here would be the
I hope the
only
stat is so worth it. 'Cause
here
it's
would be
probably
the
not.
only trepidation I would have with Stafford. He is 5-43 all time against winning teams with that finish the season with winning records.
Mm-hmm.
No playoff wins, and he is 1-21 on the road against teams that finish the season with winning records.
And without them, they're 0-49.
But that was with Calvin Johnson for a very long time.
I guess it just didn't work out.
They're fun.
They played better last
their
year.
offense is good, but I'm not saying it's Stafford's fault either. I'm not even against them giving the money to Stafford, because I'm not against what you just said. What do you do if you don't have Stafford? It's hard to just turn around and rebuild, because then
I
you're the
don't
Bears.
disagree. I don't
Because then you're the
disagree.
Jets. Because then you're the Chargers, or not the Chargers, but right now you are the Chargers. And how many wins? Like, here's my thing: do you want to float around as the Chargers and be like Phillip Rivers for the next 25, 12, 15 years or whatever? That, like, do you know my point? Because how many playoff wins do they have? Like, how successful has that been? So, like, I don't know what the right answer is here, because neither of them are super successful. They're just more successful than they used to be. Like, that's not really a great way to judge it off of when you have the Packers, who just recently won a Super Bowl, who consistently go to the NFC
If you were
Championship.
garbage forever and now you're slightly above garbage, I mean, I guess it's a plus.
But is that, like, all they're going to be for a very... Like, do you think Stafford is a Super Bowl winning type quarterback? Do you think Phillip Rivers
No,
is a
but
Super
I
Bowl
don't-
type
I
winning
don't-
quarterback?
You are looking at it from Super Bowl or bust, but I mean, they're not. I'm sure they're not.
But would you rather Super Bowl or bust, or what they're doing is what I'm asking. As a Cowboys fan, if the Cowboys were just
I want to be
consistently,
we've had this conversation many times.
consistently 10 wins to 6 wins
We've
every
had-
year,
we've
never
had
win
this
12
conversation.
wins.
Yeah,
never,
this was the whole
never
Super Bowl bust
make it
argument.
to the NFC Championship.
Right.
What
This
if they
was-
never make it to the NFC Championship for the next 20 years? Would you be happy with that?
This was the whole Super Bowl bust argument. I said I would rather be a respectable team and was competing and had a shot than to be nobody and to never have a shot.
But so I'm cool with you're the Bills of the 90s who made it to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row. I understand
Right,
that, but
right.
would you?
Yeah.
But the Lions of the mid 2000s,
They've
of
gotten
the
better.
2010
They've been
to
better.
2017,
Okay, so they've been better in recent years. So were they not better without Calvin Johnson?
all right, but they were not that. They're not.
Okay, so what?
Still zero. So you know how many wins? They still have no playoff wins. They still have zero
Okay,
playoff
right.
wins. Barry Sanders had
Right.
more playoff
You're
wins
right.
than that.
Congratulations. But guess what?
Well, in the last 30 years,
are they going to the
were
playoffs
better.
without Matthew Stafford? No.
20 years ago, no.
Oh my goodness.
They were 0-16 just like, 15 years ago? 2005, right?
Point being, you asked me a question. The answer is they were better with Matthew Stafford than without him.
How do you feel about the Bears?
Who? I'm not talking about the Bears. I'm not.
Do they win a game?
No.
No, 0-16. I like the bold prediction. Hot takes out of Dwight tonight. I got the NFC East. Are you ready for this, Dwight?
He has nothing to say about the Bears either.
Fun is what I got for the NFC East, man. I'm excited for this.
Nerve-wracking, annoying, irritating, unpredictable.
Does Zeke Elliott play week 1?
Wide receivers. I have a lot more better.
A lot of wide receivers.
I have a lot more words than you got.
A lot of wide receivers. Well,
no, Zeke doesn't play week 1, apparently. No, Zeke doesn't play week 1.
Washington, Terrell Pryor.
I don't care about that.
Has 3 drops. He's their number 1 wide receiver. He has 3 drops in the preseason and 2 catches. He's the number 1 wide receiver going into the season.
I'm glad you start off with Washington because that's the weakest league as far as I'm concerned. It's not even worth talking about as far as I'm concerned. To me, it's
Kirk Cousins is
the
decent.
other 3.
Jordan Reed is decent. I don't know anything about their defense. I don't think their offensive line is going to have them finishing 4th as well.
You said Terrell Pryor is the best wide receiver, so I mean...
That's their number 1 wide receiver. I don't think that's their best. That's who they have on the number 1. I don't know who the rest are. Pierre Garçon's gone. He's with the Niners. Deshaun Jackson's down with Tampa Bay. I don't know who else they have as wide receiver.
Nobody.
Terrell Pryor has 3 drops in the preseason and 2 catches. That's all I know about their wide receiving core, and he's their first on their depth chart.
So now that we got the 4th place team out, what about the top 3?
Who do you have 3rd? And then we'll go 1. Who do you have 3rd?
Eagles.
I have the Giants.
Of course you do.
I don't think the Giants' defense is all that good. I like their secondary. I don't think their front 7 is good. Eli kind of confuses me. Another team. Do you think they need to start preparing for the future quarterback?
Not necessarily.
In the next year or 2?
In the next 2 or 3 years.
I like Odell. I like Marshawn. Or Brandon Marshall. Why did I say Marshawn? Marshawn, that's what I was thinking of. But Brandon Marshall. And they have a decent running back. They have a good decent amount. I don't know. Their offensive line is iffy, but Eli gets it done.
They have too many weapons.
I think he throws more he threw a lot of interceptions last year. I think if he does that again, they will finish 3rd in this division. I don't know.
I'll tell you this. I think the top 3 are going to be.
It's a scramble.
I'm saying
it's a scramble.
Yeah, and I have my other wild card in this division.
I think all 3 of them can finish in a wild card, but I don't know who is going to be in the top 2.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't know who's going to be in the top 3.
Who do you have as number 1?
Literally, I have any of the other 3. It can go in any order.
Any of them can go 1 through 3. You think the
real.
Eagles can win? You think they can finish in 3rd? You think Dallas can win? They can finish in 3rd.
Literally.
The Giants can win? They can finish in 3rd. I don't disagree with that.
Dallas is a huge question mark
I
because
have
we
Dallas
don't know
as number 1 team.
We don't know what's going on with Zeke or Elliott. By default, I do have Dallas as number 1 because
I have them by default as well as number 1. I have the Eagles 2nd.
If Zeke comes back, or even earlier than expected, I think that hands down they're number 1. But I mean, if he goes 6 weeks, then
I think they can still win 4 games without him.
I don't know.
I think they can still win 4 games without him. They have.
Maybe.
They have McFadden, they have Morris, they have Smith.
Maybe. To me, the Eagles, the Cowboys, and Giants, all 3 are question marks.
I like the Eagles.
But they're all good enough to win.
Obviously, as an Eagles fan, I'm excited to see what Carson Wentz does. If they can do what they did at home on the road this year, they will obviously take that step up and at least make the playoffs, maybe even win the division. I think the defense is very solid in Philadelphia. I think they are a top 5 defense. I was preaching that all last year.
Yeah,
and I thought they were very good
last year. It all fell off, didn't it?
But there was a lot. I don't disagree, but they have a good secondary. I like the front 7 a lot. As Jordan Hicks stays healthy, they have a really good chance of being a top 10, top 5 defense. I like the receivers, finally. Yeah. People are trying to tell me Nelson Aguilar's stepping up, but I still don't see that happening.
No, he's garbage. I will say, the wide receiver game
looks better.
Has gotten better. It's not saying anything.
Jeffrey.
It's not saying anything.
Smith takes the top off.
It's not saying anything.
Yeah, you're
right. I saw Jeffrey's very good.
Top 10 talent, probably.
Who's number 2?
Torrey Smith.
He's good.
Decent.
He's good.
A veteran, seasoned veteran. Takes the top off.
It's a better situation.
Dez, Odell, Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey, Torrey Smith, all of them are going to be fun in the same division. You can even throw in Cole Beasley,
you got Jason Witten.
The
tight ends.
Absolutely.
There's
Jordan Reed from the Redskins.
Yeah. See, this is my thing with the top 3 is that you got all these wide receivers. I don't think the secondary is good on any of the three, to be honest with you. Any
Yeah.
of the four.
Yeah.
I think all the second. I mean, you guys, you got a corner, you got better, but.
We'll see. We'll see. I think the secondary steps up from
I
what they
think
were
everybody's corner. I think most of the corners and most of the safeties are meh as far as.
I don't disagree. I don't think anybody has
No.
a fantastic secondary. It's going to be fun
No.
to watch these
No.
receivers against these secondaries. It's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of blitzing going on, I assume.
Has to be.
Dallas's offensive line is really good. The Eagles' offensive line is projected to be really good. The Giants'
I'm glad
offensive
you
line
said projected
scares
because
me.
there's some people are telling me they're better than the Cowboys, which they need to pump the brakes and relax.
I wouldn't go that far, but I think they might have more depth
Shout
maybe
to
than the
Joe.
Cowboys, but I don't know if they are better than the Cowboys.
No. No.
We'll see when we get to the season. Like I said, projected.
No. So
I have the Cowboys,
winning.
Eagles, Giants, Redskins. I think the Eagles, like you said,
I got
anybody
Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Redskins.
that
but
1-3-3 can change, just like you said. I think all three of them can make a wild card in some way, shape, or form. I'm not saying all three of them from the same. I just mean they all have a chance to.
Definitely.
It's going to be
disgusting.
interesting. Dwight, that leaves us with only a couple things left. I'm going to ask you, who do you think wins the MVP this year?
Derek Carr.
I'll have him in the running.
That's the extent of my conversation about that.
I'll have
'Cause it's
Le'Veon
all
Bell in
guessing
the
game,
running.
so there's no reason.
I'm taking Tom Brady.
Of course you are.
41 years old. 40 years old.
You went way out on that limb, didn't
No, not at all. Who do you have coach of the year?
you? I don't have one.
I'm taking Bill O'Brien of the Texans. As I said, I took them as a under. So
Makes sense
obviously
for
that
your
would
perspective, yeah.
happen. If that's happened, then that's how I would have it going down. I have a rookie of the year. You're probably not a big rookie.
No.
Okay, I think Bennett, the guy from or not Bennett, Garrett, the guy from
He's so confident in his pick, guys.
no, the guy from Cleveland, Garrett, the defensive player. I think he has a shot, and then I think if Deshaun Watson gets in, he'll probably win it because that would also go with my projection of them winning.
Do you know this next guy's name?
I have one last question for you, Dwight.
I guess there's no more names. What's the question?
I mean, I'd like to see Kaiser win it, but I don't think he will. One last question for you, Dwight.
I need to buy you a squishy ball.
Yeah, one last question.
What's up?
You got a Super Bowl prediction for me?
You know I hate doing this, right?
I know, that's why I'm asking you. This is part of the NFL preview. This is what we do up in here.
We don't, because I didn't do it last year.
But I do.
Of course you do. I'm AFC. Who you got for AFC?
I think it's obvious.
Patriots?
Yes.
I'm going with the fall off. I'm going with the Raiders.
I almost went with the Raiders, but I just...
I have Patriots second,
Can't do
but I feel like
The Raiders get their revenge?
1,
20
2,
years later?
I think that Madden Curse is real. Something's going to happen.
Who do you have them playing in the Super Bowl?
That's the big question mark.
The NFC is wide open. I did not go out on a limb. I did not go out on a limb on the NFC.
Just going to do this off the top of the head. Oh, God. I can't even say it just off the top of my head because it's like I don't really believe it.
I'm not confident in my
Packers.
pick. I'd pick the Packers as well, and I'm not
Packers.
confident in that as well. It was
If
either
the-
them or the Seahawks
Or the Cowboys.
because the Seahawks have a good defense. The Cowboys have a really good offense. I trust the process, but, I will never pick
You know
them.
how that works.
I will never pick them. But Packers.
Packers
We're
or
both picking the
Cowboys?
Packers.
I'll take Packers.
I have the Patriots winning the Super Bowl. You?
Raiders.
This will be a fun year.
That
The
was
Oakland
just,
Raiders.
most of that was just guessing on
That
top
would
of
be
my
fun
head.
if the Oakland Raiders won and then they're moving to Vegas here in a couple years. That would be super interesting. So,
That'd be some shit.
switching gears very fast.
Yeah, it's like a 3-hour show, ain't it? Shout out to you if you're actually watching.
College football last week was fun. Alabama put
That's
on
what I hear.
Alabama put on a show as always.
Mm-hmm.
My Fighting Irish, the defense looked better than usual, better than they did last year. It was just against Temple, so I will slow the brakes. Georgia this week is the test. Georgia this week is the absolute test. But Wimbush looked
Are they
very
actually
good.
going to do it? Don't,
Yeah,
don't just
I
say
hope
that
so.
and not pick
Wimbush,
somebody.
400 plus yards
No, don't
rushing.
say how you
I'm
hope
picking
so.
the Irish, man. 400 plus yards rushing at home.
Say it with
400
your chest.
plus yards rushing. 3 guys went over 100 yards rushing. Josh Adams, my man out of Philadelphia. It was just against Temple, so I'm not. 3 rushing touchdowns. 4 rushing touchdowns overall as a team at 4 or 5.
It was just against Temple.
1 game. I'm not overhyping it. I'm
not
it makes
saying
me
you are. For
confident.
once, I'm not saying you are, but Just saying that. I'm going to throw some shade. This is why I don't watch college. My man just said it was 400 rushing yards. This is why I don't watch college football. Please carry on.
They play Georgia this week. That's going to be so fun. And they have a great passing attack. So, like, they didn't even unleash it. The defense looked better. Their secondary was tackling. That was a hard thing for them to do last year. They would have given up 35 points at least to Temple.
I saw that.
Even though they would have won 40 plus to 30-something, they didn't give up 30 points to Temple. And that's, like, that's a start. I'm not saying I'm not saying they will do that all season. It's a start. OSU looked good in their game against Indiana. They started off a little slow in the second half, and then they just turned it on in the middle of the third quarter. Howard was the biggest upset in college football history. Cam Newton's little brother was the quarterback of Howard, and they won that game. They beat UNLV. They got paid $600,000 to take their team to UNLV, and they won. It's the biggest upset in the point spread of Vegas history. Shout out to Liberty, who beat Baylor 45-44. That was also a top 10 upset of all time. That's up there with the Central Michigan Appalachian State beating Michigan years and years ago when Michigan was number 2 in the nation. But Baylor was not ranked, neither was UNLV. But these are still really big upsets. And that was Rule's first ever game as the Baylor's head coach. A lot of people thought Baylor was going to be really good because Rule, they had a lot of NCAA violations because of what happened for them. So that's going to take a little bit of time for them to work out. I'm not super shocked that happened. That's not really a slight on Baylor either. Who else do I got? Oh, the UCLA and A&M game. A&M was up 35-10 and over UCLA. UCLA won the game 45-44. Josh Rosen went from being the biggest bust in college football history to a Heisman frontrunner literally in 2 quarters. It was super impressive. Tennessee came back from down 2 touchdowns against Georgia Tech, went to double overtime, beat them, stopped them on a 2-point conversion in the second overtime. It was just a fun first weekend of college football, as it usually is, so I'm very excited that it's back. This week, we already talked about Notre Dame, Georgia. I'm picking the Irish because I'm an Irish fan. I'm just super hopeful.
Of course you are.
Hopeful. But Penn State, back in Penn State for the first time in like 15 or 20 years at 3:30 on ABC. So that's going to be an interesting game. Penn State.
I have no idea what you just said.
Pittsburgh versus Penn State. It's the first time in like 20 years that they're playing each other.
I'm glad you slowed that down a
They're
little bit.
3:30 on ABC. That's going to be an interesting game.
He's so excited.
Auburn-Clemson is going to be an interesting game. OSU and Oklahoma is going to be an interesting game. USC and Stanford is going to be an interesting game. But 3 of those games are at the same time as the Notre Dame game, so it's going to be hard for me to juggle all of that. You know me, I love college football, so this is just super exciting, and I'm all ramped up. Now,
You don't say.
we're going to turn back to something Dwight's into. We're going to burn through our picks real quick. This is something we do every year. Last year, Dwight, I beat you, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years in a row. So this is going to be fun. 3rd year doing this. Did I beat you last year? I know I was up a lot, and you made a really good run down the stretch. I know you beat me in the playoffs. I think I beat you. You beat me in the playoffs. I think I beat you in the regular season.
I don't remember now.
Anyways,
I'd have to look it up.
starting over, 0-0. It's a new year.
We need to start putting bets on this.
All right, man. What do you want to do?
I don't know. We're going to talk about this off air.
Wings and beer. On the show.
How would that even work?
I don't know. We'll figure this out.
Say,
Wings and beer.
say,
Take
you
pictures
say.
and tweet it at JD Sports _JD Sports. We'll talk about this. Anyways, 0-0 right now.
Okay.
Thursday night, Kansas City takes on New England.
Mm-hmm.
The banner gets unveiled. Tom Brady. The rings will be shown.
Tom Brady gets a W.
Andy Reid starts 0-1.
Yep.
I got New England as well. Oakland versus Tennessee, the 1 o'clock time slot. As I said, Oakland last year won all their games in the 1 o'clock time slot. They were the first team to ever do that. They went on the road more than anybody else. Who do you have winning this game, Oakland or Tennessee?
This is probably the hardest matchup of the week for me.
Without
honestly.
question. This is going to be such a fun game.
Difficult. It's now or never. I'm going with Tennessee.
I'm picking Oakland.
In a slight upset. It's a slight upset.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm
But,
going to take Oakland.
I don't fault you for that.
I think it's going to be a really good game, though, and I
It could
agree.
be tight. It'll be
a
the tightest one.
that was
of
a
the
hard
week.
pick.
Yeah, it
either
could be
way.
a lot of offense in that.
Baltimore taking on Cincinnati. Who do you got?
Cincinnati.
I got Baltimore. Philadelphia taking on Washington.
You make me sick. God, your love for Joe Flacco is disgusting. God, what? I don't even hear what you said because all I hear is Joe Flacco.
Philadelphia taking on Washington in Washington. Who do you got?
More things that make me sick. I picked Philadelphia.
We're both taking the Eagles in this one. I'm excited. Go Birds. Pittsburgh taking on Cleveland.
Pittsburgh.
Deshaun Kaiser's first ever start. I got Cleveland losing. Sorry, I was going to say. I got Pittsburgh winning.
Say, what's a Cleveland win?
Bell is back. Bell's going to play. And they have Bryant. They have
destroyed.
Antonio Brown. That's going to be fun.
Destroyed.
For Pittsburgh's offense, Jacksonville taking on Houston. Houston coming back from the flood. This is going to be pretty probably emotional for everybody. It's going to be pretty sure they said it's already sold out. So we'll see about that. Who you got?
I'm taking the Texans. It's going to be like a New Orleans situation where they just come together and
as
just
good as
probably
the Texans'
just
defense
destroy them.
is, as bad as Jacksonville's offense is, you would expect the Texans to win. So I'm taking the Texans as well based on
If
that.
they're not motivated to play, then
Exactly.
stay home. For real.
Tampa
Don't even show up.
Tampa Bay, Miami, there's talks of it moving to Thursday. There's talks of it moving to Monday. There's talks of it moving it to Carolina. There's talks of it moving to Philadelphia on Sunday. There's talks of them to moving it to Week 11 when both teams have a bye.
Why are you saying all this?
Because of the hurricane. They're talking about moving this game. So if they move this game from Sunday to Week 11, then neither team will have a bye week. They both have a bye week on Week 11, but then they will play 16 straight games, and the NFL Union is not a fan of this. So they're talking about moving this game up to Carolina because Carolina's playing San Francisco and San Francisco at 4:05, but the hurricane's going to hit there. They're actually talking about bringing it up to Philadelphia. I think that would be a pretty cool and fun idea, just as a Philadelphia guy. I don't know exactly where they're going to play. They might take it to New York. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. In case they play it, who are you picking?
Tampa Bay, regardless. I think they're a much better team.
I'm also taking Tampa Bay as well. Shout out to everybody in Florida, as we said before. Hopefully they stay safe. Hopefully the hurricane misses them and does not hit anybody as hard as it's predicted to. Atlanta taking on Chicago. Who you got in that one?
Falcons.
I'm also taking the Falcons. Mitchell Trubisky start? I don't think so. Didn't they sign that one guy?
I don't know. I don't care.
They signed Tampa Bay's backup. I can't think of his name.
That's how much it matters.
He's starting. Chicago loses. Atlanta wins. The Jets taking on Buffalo. Do the Jets get a win?
Negative. They're probably going.
Tyrod Taylor goes 1-0.
Definitely.
I got Tyrod Taylor winning as well. Buffalo taking that one. Arizona taking on Detroit. Matthew Stafford, does he back up his contract?
For week 1, yes. The Cardinals, I still think that they're going to be a disappointment. I hope they're a little better than they were last year.
They're
it's not going to say a lot.
team.
But I'm taking Detroit.
This was actually a really tough game for me to pick, almost as tough as the other, because I think that both teams are a little better than mediocre, or sometimes they're just mediocre, and I'm not sure. And plus,
Well, the Cardinals were more than mediocre 2 years ago.
I agree, but so Detroit also made it to the
just a little
playoffs
more,
in 2 of the last 3 years. So like I don't.
The Cardinals were about to win a Super Bowl a couple years ago. Potentially.
I took Detroit in this game as well.
All right.
Indiana taking on the Rams, or Indianapolis. Sorry, Indianapolis. The Colts taking on the Rams.
Indianapolis.
I don't think the Colts are going to have Andrew Luck. I think that Tolzien is their starter. I'm taking the Rams. I think it's a coin flip because I think that both teams are really bad if Andrew Luck does not play. If Andrew Luck plays, I'm taking the Colts. But he's not playing. I think he's out for week 1, so I'm taking the Rams.
I think it's a coin flip on a bad sense, but I'm going against the Rams.
A game I'm super excited for, Seattle taking on Green Bay.
Aaron Rodgers, I'm going the Packers.
I'm taking Seattle. I think that's going to be
Seattle on the road.
I think it's going to be a really fun game.
They did it before, but I mean,
I think it's just going to be a really fun game.
Yeah, that's definitely
Aaron Rodgers, though. I think it's very possible.
Of the 4:00 games, that's definitely the one to watch. But
I'm going to keep an eye on my boy Cam taking on San Francisco. Who do you got in that one?
That's nothing to watch. I'm going the Carolina Panthers.
I'm taking the Panthers as well. The Giants taking on Dallas, the 8:00 game. You got your Cowboys?
I took the Cowboys by default.
I took your Cowboys as well.
Again, there's a whole lot of default going on.
I don't believe in the Giants, you know that. So I'm going with the Cowboys.
I don't believe in our secondary. I also don't believe in the Giants secondary.
The Giants got the Cowboys twice last year. Is this an annual thing? Don't they play the first game of the year every year? Eagles and Washington have been playing that as well, the first game of the year.
It's becoming that, yeah.
Last year the Eagles played Cleveland the first game of the year.
A couple years ago, it was always closing out. We were playing Philly every year, and then I'd stopped, and I think they became Washington or somebody.
But now they're playing Philly again every year. The last 2 years they played them at the last game of the season.
And now
they're doing it again the third year
Now
in a
we're
row.
playing the Giants in prime time again. But we're not America's team, but, whatever.
The Patriots are getting the Thursday night game because they are America's team.
Because nobody's going to watch.
I'll watch. And I got work the next day.
Sunday night football versus Thursday night football.
Both are going to be fun because you got the Patriots in that one. I'm taking Dallas as well. 2 Monday night games for you. Double dipper.
There's a Monday night. What's Monday Night Football? That still exists after Sunday Night Football.
Adrian Peterson going to take on his old team, the Minnesota Vikings, in
So
week
that's
1.
no, it doesn't exist. That's what he meant to say.
Who do you think
Vikings.
wins that one?
Vikings.
I'm taking the Vikings. Well, I don't think Adrian Peterson has that big of a game.
No, I don't think it's. I think that's going to be a lot of hype behind that. I don't think it's going to be that interesting of a game. Really.
So does LAC stand for LA Clippers or LA Chargers?
Lakers.
LAC?
It means Lakers regardless.
They're playing the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos starting Brock Osweiler, I actually took them over the Chargers at home. I think they'll split their series this year, so that's why I took the Denver Broncos.
I took the Denver Broncos before I even knew Brock Osweiler was showing up,
And now Brock Osweiler's there.
and now I care even less.
So
But I'm
this
going with
is
Denver.
going to be a fun season to wait. I'm excited. We got through the NFL preview. It's over.
Is it
Go Birds.
the Ravens?
We're
we
gonna
know.
we're
He
gonna
loves
watch
the Ravens.
We're gonna
we
watch
know.
a lot of football together. I hope this year.
Yeah, I hope to watch a lot of football. I hope to watch some football.
We'll be watching it together this year. We got this.
Shout out to my garbage work schedule.
Hopefully we get you on my schedule. Go Irish this week.
We
This is
hope
going to
so.
be a fun weekend of football, college, NFL. We are less than a month away from the NHL starting. We're just over a month away from the NBA starting. Magic Johnson got money taken out of his salary for tampering. We'll talk about that, I assume. Colin Kaepernick still
No
not
shock.
having a job, so I'm sure that will come
More
up
no
at some
shock.
point.
Just preaching to the choir. If you
Thank you
watch
for
the show,
watching.
you already know.
Thank you for watching JD Sports. We appreciate it. This is going to be a fun year to wait.
Absolutely.
I can't wait. This has been the best show so far of this season, I feel like. So thank you for watching. I'm Jared Hood. That's Dwight.
How about them Cowboys?